Hello and welcome to another episode of The Naked Turner. Today I was out in my shed trying to turn a few items, and I thought I'd share with you this square platter I'm working on. This is the back side of it. And if you'd like to see me turn another Japanese style square platter with swept down and swept up wings, in this video you'll see a link below to my two videos, and you can go check those out where I show how I make these square platters and give a few tips and tricks about how to make them. Hopefully it'll be helpful for anyone trying one of these relatively dangerous platters. As you can see, they get a little sketchy. You definitely got to stay paying attention and make sure you don't catch a knuckle, a finger, or any other part of your body up in that spinning mess of square corners. Okay, I have some vinegar and some steel wool in this tub here, and I'm going to apply it to this piece of oak, and we'll get to see what happens to this oak. Okay, you can see it starting to darken already, and it's only been a couple minutes, so I'll give this a few more minutes and then check back in and show you some of the results. It'll probably take 2 to 3 coats. I literally just put the steel wool in this vinegar. I did not let it sit, so usually I let it sit for a day or so before I use it, and I'm just giving this a try, and it looks like it's working. It's turning darker already. Alright, a couple more minutes in and it's definitely darkening up some more. Alright, so there it is, pretty much dried up, and it's this really nice purplish black that I just love. Anyway, now I'm taking my steel wool and dipping it in and applying another coat. You can see how black it already is. It's pretty amazing. I had put a coat of black lacquer on this, just to let you guys know, and it was really ugly. And I ended up turning all the black lacquer back off and sanding the square edges, scraping first and then sanding the square edges, all the black lacquer off of the piece. It just didn't look good, and it was mainly because there's so much open grain in this oak that I just didn't like the finish I was getting. And I just said, why hadn't I done this with my steel wool and vinegar idea? Well, it was because I had some black lacquer out here with me in the shop, and I didn't have any vinegar and steel wool mix, so I got a little lazy. Don't get lazy. So I took it all off. The laziness made more work, and here I am now. I think it's looking pretty sweet. I'm trying to show a little time lapse sort of thing here, showing how it is darkening up. Okay, it's drying out. I'm going to let it dry. I'll give it a little sand and then decide, because I'm going to give it a sand because of the fact that when you do this, see all these little hairs kind of in here? I think you can hopefully see those little white capillary ends. All of those expand, little tubelets expand, and you get a lot of fuzziness on there. So I'm going to get rid of that fuzziness, and then I will, once I'm happy with the level of sanding that I have on this and the level of color, I will then put some clear coat on it and then some friction rub finish. Almost completely dry. Okay, so I just did some 400 grit sanding, and I got a little bit aggressive out here on the wing tips, just because that's how it is. It sort of catches out there a little, since you're cutting air and then you're cutting wood and cutting air and cutting wood. The sandpaper has room to move back in there a little bit and get more or less contact. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pre-apply out here. I think I'll do the whole thing because I have another little spot in here, which I don't mind that so much, but you know, what am I going to say? I'm going to try to get rid of it. I'm going to put a little bit more on there. Alright, so it's been reapplied, and now my wingtips are matching, and it looks gray right now, but once I put some clear coat on it, it'll pop out sort of blackish blue again, purplish blackish blue. Alright, so I was just hand sanding the wings and the end grain here with 400 grit and speed sanding on the lathe the rest of this, and I think I've got it looking and feeling really nice for my first coat of clear. So I'm going to put that on and then I'll show you what this looks like after that. Oh, and one other thing, I'm going to do something down here in the middle first just to get rid of that little nub. Alright, so here it is with the first layer of clear on, and what I'm going to do, hopefully you can see this, you can still see some of the oak just coming through, but it's nice and black here. It's that purplish black that I was talking about, and I really like it. I think it's going to look nice. I'm going to do a little more work on the bottom here, put some friction rub on, and then I'll flip it around and hollow out the inside. Alright, so here it is with some friction rub on it, and it's looking real nice. One more coat of that and then I'll flip it around. Alright, so I have it flipped around. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and I'm going to start taking away some of those wings, and I'll show you a little bit of that process. Oops. Alright, safety gear, definitely. I always say always wear this. Anytime you're doing square edge stuff, especially, you never know what little splinters or big splinters might fly off of these corners. And everything locked down really well. This is a fairly big piece. I'm spinning up here at 1700 RPM. Oh, let me get rid of this. Oh, by the way, my father made this ring, and he had asked me to actually bring it out into the shop today, even though he's no longer with us, but somehow he wanted, this is the eye of the Anderson, and this all-seeing eye wanted to come out to the shop and see what I was working on. So what I'll have to do is put it over here with a good view of what I'm doing. I don't want it to get too close here. This other ring, it's on so tight, it's really hard to get off. It's my wedding band, and I'm just leaving it on. If that gets me, then I guess that was it. Okay, you know what I gotta do? I gotta sharpen this up, folks. It's just not quite sharp enough right now. Okay. Put a little sharp edge on this, just using a diamond credit card. Much better. Okay. Low handle angle. Rubbing my bevel. And a little push cut out toward the end. So I'm going for a fairly flat wing here. That way there's little spots out here on the corner that are flat. So I kind of like that. I've done swept up, swept down, and flat. And sometimes flat are just nice because it is like another little spot. You could put a small condiment or something like that on the corners of these, or a little decoration like a radish or something like that that brings a pop of color to the dish you're making. Alright, so now I'm doing some hollowing in here. Alright, so I'll be doing some more hollowing like that, and then I'll check back in with you. Okay, here it is, fully hollowed out. And by the way, this piece is 9-inch. It's a 9-inch square platter bowl. And I got it down to about 1/4 inch. Be a little fatter than 1/4 inch in some places, but right down there about 1/4 inch in my recess. I can do, I think that feels real good. I don't want to do too much more, just some sanding down here in the bottom. I'm probably going to take a little more out of this outside corner because it is thick right there, and that's what I'll do next. And I'm probably going to do that. I'll try doing that here with my heavy duty scraper. See how that works. Alright, so here it is, finished. Feels really nice. It's got a real nice finish on it. And I don't want it to be much glossier than that. I actually was going to put another coat of sanding sealer on it, but I ran out of my lacquer. In which case I would have gotten it maybe a little bit shinier, but I really like this kind of an antiqued, shiny finish. What I'm going to do is do a little more buffing on it now that it's sat here for a little while. That'll probably bring out a tiny bit more of the luster. Running up here, hold on a second, running up here around 1700. There it is, finished piece. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this little video here, definitely give me a thumbs up, like it, and share it. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're not a subscriber, please click subscribe and join my channel now. Thanks again from the studios of The Naked Turner. Enjoy and safe turning. Here's the red oak platter I just turned. It's a square platter, and the back of it I oxidized using steel wool and white vinegar. 3 coats of that, and then some friction rub clear coat over it, and you get this intense ebonized wood look, and it comes out real nice if you pay attention to detail.